It's the 1st of December 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news for tonight, I am Jaima Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team.
And I am Hashini Patirana. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Deep depression moves further away from the island. Death toll from disaster rises to 366. No information on 367 missing. Over 1.1 million people from 316,000 families affected nationwide. Kalani and Mahavali rivers remain at major flood level. Nagalagam Street water gauge reading at 8.4 feet. Sirasa and Shakti Sahanayatra flood relief initiative continues by air, water and land. Opposition walks out amid heated budget debate.
The fallout from Cyclone Ditwa and the extensive damage caused by the ensuing natural disasters have left in its wake a trail of destruction across multiple parts of Sri Lanka.
As we have over the past few days, the Newsfirst will now bring to you an extensive report on the latest situation surrounding the weather. Newsfirst Omitra Bekon reports the latest.
Over the past few days, we here at Newsfirst have been bringing to you all the detailed situation reports and the updates concerning Cyclone Ditwa. So what is the exact location of Cyclone Ditwa now, and how is Sri Lanka dealing with its aftermath? So we have all the details regarding this. Now, the Meteorology Department reports that the deep depression is continuing to move further away from the island and is gradually weakening. As a result, several showers are likely in the northern, western, Sabaragamuwa and southern provinces, as well as in the districts of Kandy and Nuwara. Now, the Kalani River at the Nagalagam Street continues to remain at major flood level, with the water gauge reading at 8.4 feet. Areas along the Kalani River, including Kaduwela, Ambatale, Kalaniya, Malabe and the lower Kalani Basin, are still at major flood levels. All Gramanildari divisions under the Kalaniya Divisional Secretariat, including Singharamulla, Pilapitiya, Pethiyagoda and Paliyagoda, remain under active warnings. Authorities urge those still residing in these areas to move to safe locations immediately. Meanwhile, the Irrigation Department has also issued a warning to the public to avoid visiting the Kalani River as its flood control gates have reached maximum level. Now, the disaster situation affecting all 25 districts has pushed the death toll to 366, according to the latest situation report issued by the Disaster Management Centre, and 367 individuals still remain missing.
Several groups continue to work relentlessly to rescue those affected by the sudden disaster that has struck the island. A significant number of volunteers alongside the tri-forces and police have actively joined the relief efforts, with assistance already arriving from countries such as India, Pakistan and Japan. Relief teams are now gradually reaching areas that remained cut off for days due to landslides and floods.
The Sri Lanka Air Force and Indian Air Force today carried out a joint operation to provide relief and rescue for people affected by the floods in Ambatale. Rescue operations for people trapped by the floods were conducted this morning with the support of the tri-forces and the police. Rescue efforts for people trapped by the floods in Sri Parakumbabata Angoda took place this morning. Although many people had evacuated from high-risk areas, the army stepped in to rescue a group in Colombo who were trapped after failing to leave on time. Pakistani military teams assisted in rescuing people trapped in Colombo, Balampitia and Gampaha. Pakistani military relief teams also distributed food to the displaced people. Relief teams also ensured to rescue trapped animals. A herd of goats trapped in the Belevata area was safely rescued. With the support of the Indian Army, people trapped in Kochikade were rescued in this manner. A group affected by the disaster in Rottota Matale required significant effort to be rescued. A group of people, including a 5-month-old infant who was stranded in a house in Lingapuram, affected by the partial collapse of the Mavil Aru embankment in Trincomalee, were rescued by a Navy disaster relief team. Six mothers and their babies receiving treatment at the Chilau Base Hospital due to the floods were transferred to the Putlam Base Hospital by an Air Force helicopter. An Indian Air Force helicopter distributed dry rations to people stranded in Kotwale and Nur Elia due to the disaster. They also rescued injured people and children from these areas and safely transported them to the Katunaika Air Force Base.
Careful, slow. Just leave only one.
The Sri Lanka Air Force, continuing their relief and rescue operations across the island, today transported essential food and sanitary supplies from the Ratmalana Air Force Base to the Sigiriya Air Force Base via a Y-12 aircraft. The women of the Sri Lanka Air Force also played a notable role in these operations. A group of people trapped in Matale were rescued by the army after a considerable effort.
The Sri Lanka Air Force continued distributing dry rations, food aid and other essential supplies to people in disaster-stricken but inaccessible regions today, and food aid provided through the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra flood relief initiative was also distributed along with the other stocks of aid.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa and opposition MPs walked out of parliament rejecting the budget debate. Only opposition MP Ravi Karunanayake participated in the budget debate on behalf of the opposition. The members of the opposition left the chamber stating that instead of a budget debate, they wanted a discussion on the urgent national disaster situation.
Sri Lanka's parliament convened at 9 a.m. today to approve the expenditure heads for 4 ministries. Following a 2-day postponement due to the emergency disaster situation, it was decided that the budget debate would be held today and continue until midnight. At the start of the session, the ruling party proposed limiting today's sitting to a few hours so that the MPs could return to their constituencies and assist affected communities. The opposition agreed to convene a party leaders meeting on the matter, after which the House was adjourned for 30 minutes. When Parliament reconvened, the Speaker announced the decision reached by the party leaders.
අද දිනට නියමිත වැය සීර්ෂ මධ්‍යහන 12:30ට පමණ සම්මත කිරීමටත් ඉන්නනතුරු පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නැවත 2025 12 3 දින දක්වා කල්දැබීමට තීරණය කර බව දන්වනු කැමැත්තෙමි.
However, the opposition stated that no such decision was reached during the party leaders' meeting. They reiterated their demand for a debate on the prevailing disaster situation instead.
අපට ඕනේ වුණේ දේශපාලන විවාදයක් කරන්න නෙවෙයි.
We were given only a very limited time to speak about what happened in Parliament today. Our intention was not to engage in a political debate. What we wanted was a policy-level discussion. Before this disaster occurred, the Meteorology Department had warned us of the risks as early as the 12th November. If Parliament had discussed those warnings and taken policy decisions, much of this damage would have been prevented. Today we see the consequences of that failure. If we are not given the opportunity now to discuss what needs to be done from a policy perspective, we will make the same mistakes again. Lives were lost yesterday and it could happen again tomorrow. This is not about government or opposition. It is about working together as a team to decide what must be done. That is why we requested time to speak, to share ideas and to make decisions. If that opportunity is denied, we will continue to face tragedies like this. We also wish to express our deepest condolences to all citizens who have suffered and lost loved ones in this calamity. Let me emphasize again, the Meteorology Department and the Irrigation Department had warned us on the 12th November of a severe risk. Normally, when such warnings are issued, water levels in reservoirs are gradually reduced, but that did not happen. Instead, gates were opened at the last moment. Take Kotmale for example. If the gates had been opened gradually from the 12th November, at least 75% of the lives lost could have been saved. These are the issues we wanted to raise, not for political gain, but to ensure that lessons are learned and policies are implemented.
ඔය ප්‍රශ්නේ අපි මෙතන කතා කරලා තිබ්බනම් පාර්ලිමේන්තේ බලන්න අපේ අත්දැකීම් තියෙනවා මේව කතා කරන් තිබ්බ ගරු කතානායකතුමනි අපි ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ මේකයි අද දිනේදී මේ ඔව් කබීර් රචින් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා කතානායකතුමනි අපි ඒ නිසා අපි ආණ්ඩුවත් එක්ක
Honorable Speaker, this is why we will not stay here and clash with the government. We will not waste our time here. We will do our work for the people. We are leaving now. We regret this situation.
Subsequently, opposition leader and opposition MPs except Ravi Karunanayake walked out of the chamber.
My proposal is that we continue this debate as agreed. My request is to proceed with the discussion until 12:30 p.m. Now, are you suggesting that continuing until 12:30 is insufficient, or are you saying that even until 12:30 is not acceptable? During the business committee meeting, we all agreed to debate until 12:30 p.m. However, now it seems that even that time is being disregarded. Our position is clear. We requested that the debate continue until 12:30 p.m. and thereafter Parliament should reconvene on the 3rd and 5th to continue the discussion. But since requests keep coming to extend this further today and tomorrow, it becomes difficult to manage. You even suggested postponing the budget, which is not possible.
සභානායකතුමා කිව්වා විපක්ෂයේ එකඟ වුණු බවක් 12 මාරට. අපි එකඟ වුණේ නැහැ ඔබතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් තිබුණේ. අපි කිව්වේ දවසම අවශ්‍යයි කියලා. ඒ නිසා අපි යනවා.
The request was made tragic situation that has faced the country, particularly
As a party, we look back at the past 50 years from the 1978 cyclone onwards. Even during times when we were not in government and were relatively unknown, we have always acted during natural disasters without political divisions. We have consistently worked to remove difficult conditions and make a strong culture of not exploiting such situations for political gain. Therefore, we express our sincere gratitude to the people of our country, to the opposition leaders, members of parliament and all local authorities for their cooperation during this challenging period. This disaster has created significant problems and the support extended is deeply appreciated. From the very beginning of this incident, the President came to Parliament, convened all members and held discussions that led to several decisions. On the 27th and 28th, we convened all disaster management committees across Sri Lanka, 25 in total, some more than once. We also called regional disaster coordination committees and the Disaster Management Council. Furthermore, we invited opposition leaders and all of them participated, offering constructive proposals. One such proposal was to impose emergency regulations to address the situation. In some areas, major issues have been resolved and life is returning to normal. Roads are being repaired, water supply restored and transportation resumed. Health services are being strengthened. However, in the central province, especially Nuwara and Kotmale, people were stranded and we had to deploy several aircraft to rescue them, including foreign nationals. Yesterday, SF commandos travelled on foot from Nuwara to set up a base camp. We sent 3 days worth of food supplies to Kotmale. Communication remains poor in certain areas such as from Puttalam to Mundalam where problems persist. An Air Force pilot died in the line of duty and 5 Navy personnel went to clear waterways and have gone missing. The Nayaru bridge has collapsed and we are now constructing a temporary bridge. We are working tirelessly to address these issues. This is why we requested today that given the ongoing issues, we need to act immediately to extinguish them. If we delay and focus on other matters, it will be too late. Therefore, we asked that party leaders be given time until 12:30 p.m. to share their experiences and constructive suggestions. After that, Parliament should adjourn so we can intervene effectively. The public service is working, but many officials are facing severe difficulties. We requested that Parliament reconvene tomorrow and if possible on the 3rd to complete these urgent tasks and then on the 5th to properly conduct proceedings and pass the budget. We appreciate that some opposition leaders agreed to this. However, claiming that democratic rights are being violated is unfair. This is a national issue, not just a government issue. It is not something we caused, nor something that could have been fully prevented despite prior data and preparations. We thank all opposition leaders for their contributions, whether critical or supportive. This is not a time for division or shouting. The proposal is simply to reconvene Parliament on the morning of the 3rd.
කිසිම අපිට අගතියක් නැහැ. අපි මේක බෙදිලා කෑ ගහන්න ඕන වෙලාවක් නෙමෙයි. 3 වෙනිදා උදේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව රැස් කිරීම සම්බන්ධව තමයි යෝජනා තිබෙන්නේ.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephone conversation with the President of Sri Lanka, Anurakumara Dissanayake. Now, Prime Minister expressed his heartfelt condolences on the loss of lives and widespread devastation in Sri Lanka in the wake of Cyclone Ditwa. He conveyed that the people of India stand in firm solidarity with the support with the people of Sri Lanka in this hour of need. Now, President Dissanayake conveyed his deep gratitude for India's assistance in the wake of the disaster and appreciated the swift deployment of rescue teams and relief material. He also conveyed the appreciation of the people of Sri Lanka for India's timely and effective response efforts. Prime Minister assured President Dissanayake of India's continued support to Sri Lanka under the ongoing Operation Sagar Bandhu, providing rescue and relief to distressed persons. He assured that India, in line with its Vision Mahasagar and its established position as the first responder, will continue to extend all necessary assistance in the coming days as Sri Lanka undertakes rehabilitation efforts, resumes public services and works toward restoring livelihoods across the impacted regions.
News First with the people.
The contributions made by the people of Sri Lanka to the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra flood relief initiative are now being delivered to those affected by the recent disaster through airborne, waterborne and ground operations. Demonstrating speed and efficiency, Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra began distributing relief collected at multiple locations within 24 hours of the campaign's launch, ensuring that essential supplies reached those in urgent need without delay.
The Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra launched a special mission today for the communities still inaccessible due to disaster conditions. Essential supplies are being airlifted to those stranded in these hard-to-reach areas. This special operation is carried out by the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra in collaboration with the Sri Lanka Air Force, the Indian Air Force and the Disaster Management Centre. The stock of essential items handed over yesterday evening to the Sri Lanka Air Force base in Katunayake was airlifted this morning to the disaster-affected communities in Aranayake. Support for this mission was extended by officers of the Indian Air Force, with the consignment transported aboard an Indian Air Force Mi-17 helicopter. This afternoon, Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra delivered another consignment of essential supplies from the Stein Studio complex to the Ratmalana Air Force Base. These items are scheduled to be airlifted within the next few hours to reach those affected by the disaster under the leadership of the Sri Lanka Air Force. Essential supplies were distributed to residents in Kadavatha and surrounding areas still inaccessible due to the Kalani River overflow with the support of Sri Lanka Life Saving. Members of the association along with boats were deployed for this operation. Today, a relief convoy carrying essential supplies for communities affected in Badulla, Mathale and both banks of the Dadar departed from the Depanama Broadcasting Complex. Another Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra convoy left this afternoon from the MTV MBC head office premises in Colombo's Braybrook Place, carrying aid for residents in Anuradhapura, Kalababa, Badulla and Nuwara Eliya. Meanwhile, another team that reached Kandy last night delivered the essential supplies they carried to the residents stranded in the Hantana estate this morning. A Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra team that departed yesterday morning reached Batiklo today after a challenging journey. Essential supplies were distributed to residents in Vellabali, Kalavanchikudi, Kanthankudi and Pattipalai. Relief operations also continued today for communities in Madurankarnikulam and Kokuville within the Vakare Divisional Secretariat, with essential items delivered to those in need. Many displaced families remain temporarily sheltered at Vakare's Kadiraveli school. Following the announcement of the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra Flood Relief Initiative to support our fellow citizens affected by the sudden natural disaster, an overwhelming number of people have already stepped forward to contribute. Collection centers remain open for your generous donations at the MTV MBC head office at Braybrook Place, Colombo 2, Depanama Broadcasting Complex, Kotahena Satya Shri Sai Baba Center and the Kandy City Center. Additionally, a new collection point was opened today at the Kahaduvatta Junction in Gaul. This nationwide effort is strengthened by the collaboration of the Sri Lanka Army, Sarvodaya Movement and Sri Lanka Life Saving Association. Under the supervision of Army Commander Lieutenant General Lasantha Rodrigo, the Sri Lanka Army is extending its full support to the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra Flood Relief Initiative. Items that can be donated include rice, dal, noodles, biscuits, soya meat, canned fish, bottled water and sanitary products, which can be handed over at any collection centre.
The Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra. Sri Lanka needs you. Please donate the following dry rations and help those who need it the most. Rice, dal, noodles, soya meat, canned fish and biscuits. You can hand over these items at the following collection points: the MTV head office, Braybrook Place, Colombo 2, the Depanama Studio Complex in Panipitiya, the Kandy City Center in Kandy and the Sri Satya Sai Baba Center in Kotahena. For further inquiries, please call 076 552 5000. Together, we can make a difference.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. A management committee has been appointed for the Rebuilding Sri Lanka Fund, comprising representatives from both the government and the private sector. This fund was established with the aim of rebuilding the country following the massive damage caused by Cyclone Ditwa, one of the most severe natural disasters in Sri Lanka's recent history. The fund is intended to be established as a statutory fund under the Presidential Secretariat, with its management committee comprising representatives from both the government and the private sector. The Minister of Labour and the Deputy Minister of Finance and Strategic Planning, Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando, will serve as the committee's chairman. The committee's convener will be GMRD Aponsu, Senior Additional Secretary to the President. Other members of the committee include Hanif Yusuf, President Special Envoy for Foreign Investment and Governor of the Western Province, Dr. Harshana Surya Perumal, the Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, Dominda Hulangamua, the Senior Economic Advisor to the President, Sugishwar Gunawardana, Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mohan Panditagay, Chairman of the Haley's Group, Krishan Balendran, Chairman of the John Keels Holdings, Dr. Parakrama Dissanayaka, Deputy Chairman and Managing Director of Aitken Spence, Ashraf Omar, Chief Executive Officer of the Brandix Group, and Ishara Nanayakara, Executive Chairman of the LOLC Group. The management committee has full authority to manage the fund effectively. Its responsibilities include assessing needs, setting priorities, allocating funds, and releasing money for approved rehabilitation projects. The committee is also responsible for ensuring financial management, auditing, and full transparency in all fund-related activities. Accordingly, donors, whether local or international, can contribute to the fund in Sri Lankan rupees or any other currency, and their donations can be deposited into designated Sri Lankan bank accounts.
News First with the people.
Although the heavy rainfall has eased, many areas in the Colombo district remain submerged. As a result, daily life continues to be severely disrupted, with several roads rendered impassable.
The Kalani River continues to remain at major flood level at the Nagalagam Street and Hangwalla water gauges. As a result, several areas along the Kalani River in the Colombo and Gampaha districts are still under severe flooding. Many residents from these areas have been relocated to safe shelters, while rescue operations continue today to evacuate those still trapped. This was the situation in the Ambatale area this morning. Our News First correspondent reports that many people remain on the upper floors of their homes, unable to descend due to the rising water. In Vallampitiya, several low-lying areas continue to be submerged, severely affecting daily life. By this afternoon, the Malabe-Badulla road appeared in the following condition. Seetawaka was also flooded this morning. Some of the affected residents are currently being sheltered at the Safe Centre established at St. John Bosco College. Traffic on Colombo's Old Road had also been disrupted. Meanwhile, in areas where the water has receded, efforts to clear and reopen roads for vehicles began this morning. This was the condition of the Gotatua area today. Several areas in the Gampaha district remain submerged, severely affecting daily life. This is how the Minuwangoda Colombo road appeared near the Kotagoda junction, completely inundated. Power supply has been disrupted in several areas including Kotagoda, Siambalapitiya and Uggalagoda. A Newsfirst correspondent reported that the outages were caused by flooding at the main transmission station. Meanwhile, sandbags were placed this morning along the southern embankment near the Kalaniya Rajamaha Viharya for additional flood protection.
දැනට මේ වේල උඩින් වතුර යෑමක් හෝ වේල කඩා යෑමේ අවදානමක් නැහැ. මේ වන විට
Currently, the water level is high, but there is no immediate risk of flooding or dam breach. The river level is showing some stability. However, for extra safety, sandbags have been placed along the riverbed to reinforce the embankment. There is no need for alarm and the situation is under control.
This was the situation in Egoda Kalaniya this afternoon. Many areas in Kalaniya still remain submerged. By around 12:30 p.m. today, water had not yet receded along the Kochikade-Madampalla road in Negombo. The Newsfirst team visited the area this morning to assess the situation on the ground. Heavy rains over the past few days have severely impacted the Badulla district. The death toll in Badulla has risen to 71, while 53 people remain missing. Currently, 22,373 individuals from 7,973 families are affected by the disaster. This is Hangwala village in Badulla, where around 100 families are struggling to cope. The Badulla-Soranatota road remains blocked due to landslides. Meanwhile, multiple homes have been destroyed in Soranatota, Murutalava due to landslides.
ගෙවල් දෙක තුනම හරි එක තැනම තිබ්බේ ඒ ඔක්කොම ගඟටම ගහගෙනම ගියා අපිට යන්න එන්න තැනක් නැහැ අපි අර ආරස්සක තැනක එහා පැත්තේ ගෙදරක තමයි ඉන්න දැනට ඉන්නේ බඩු මුට්ටු ඔක්කොම ගියා.
The Badulla-Mahiyangania road remains blocked in several areas due to earth slips. Five bodies have been recovered from the landslide hit area of Lulkangura in Hewahata, Hanguranketa. The landslide occurred on the night of the 28th, sweeping away a row of estate houses in Upper Gonava Watta. Police, residents and state agencies continue rescue operations. Meanwhile, a section of the Rambukwella village in Alawatugoda Kandy was hit by a landslide on Saturday night. 19 houses were completely destroyed. The death toll there stands at 10, while 35 people remain missing, according to Alawatugoda police. In Gampola, flood waters that submerged the town in recent days have now receded completely. Today, cleaning operations were carried out at shops in Gampola that were submerged. The Mahaveli River overflow also flooded the Gampola railway station. Meanwhile, the Ingurugolla village in Atulgama Kandy is now at the risk of subsidence. Around 60 families have been evacuated to Atulgama school. Cracks have appeared across the village. In Hantana, 12 families with about 60 people remain sheltered at the Hantana Vani Tamil school due to the risk of landslides. A landslide early this morning blocked the Kandy Hantana main road near the 3rd mile post. The Road Development Authority has cleared the route now. Today, the Colombo-Hatton Road was reopened for vehicular movement following the landslide at Rosella. A joint operation between the Sri Lanka Army and the Road Development Authority was the force behind the restoration of this road following the devastating landslide in Rosella. However, authorities request drivers to be vigilant when using this stretch of the road. A massive landslide took place near the Rosella and Kuilwatta Ginigathena areas along the Colombo-Hatton Road as a result of the inclement weather over the past week.
Please do not ever stop to take pictures or sightsee at places where a landslide has occurred. For the moment, we have just removed the obstacles on the road. There are still cracks at certain locations. Therefore, we kindly request the general public to take the necessary precautions when using this road.
Due to the prevailing disaster situation, 505 families comprising of 1,797 individuals in the Ampara district have been severely affected. The reported death toll in the district stands at 8. 14 safe shelters have been established for displaced persons, currently housing 2,022 individuals across 641 families. At Inginiagala, 5 of 6 sluice gates at the Senanayaka Samudriya remain open. Two locations along the Galloya have breached at Neinakadu and Pallakadu, according to our correspondent. As a result, large stretches of farmland in Neinakadu and Pallakadu remain submerged.
And that's a wrap of Prime Time News for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.